Hey everybody out there in Hot Rod Land, it's Phil coming to you once again from Carcraft Classics, showing off another special Chevrolet regular cab short bed pickup truck. But before we get started with that one and all the details, for those of you who may be watching one of my videos for the first time, this is Carcraft Classics. We're located at 321 Canton Road here in Cumming, Georgia. Zip code is 30040. Phone number for the shop is 470-239-4977. My name is Phil. I'm the owner here, and my cell number is 770-317-1415. We can also be reached via email at carcraftclassics@gmail.com. And be sure to visit us on the web at carcraftclassics.com. Following this video, we're going to take 60-70 pictures of this truck, inside, outside, undercarriage, the whole 9 yards. And those will be posted at carcraftclassics.com. I want to thank you for watching the video. Be sure to give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to our channel if you're into classic cars and trucks. And we also sell wheel and tire packages and novelty items like neon signs that look great in your garage next to these beautiful classics. But yes, please give us a little thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It helps with exposure for small businesses like mine. On the internet, this new internet age, so crazy, but we got a gorgeous one here. Real quick, just wanted to let everybody know what's coming up next. Working on this sweet 1987 navy blue Chevy R10 pickup truck. Just did the lowering kit on it, added the wheels and tires. That one will be coming up next. But today's video is about this absolutely gorgeous special truck I picked up here locally. This is a 1998, the last year for the OBS style. 1998 Chevrolet C1500 GMT 400, as they call it, Silverado pickup. Picked it up, like I said, locally here in Cleveland, Georgia, from a young man that had picked it up from, I believe, the original owner. This truck has spent its whole life in Georgia. It's completely rust-free and about 99% original. I say 99 because, of course, we can't leave anything alone. We did lower it. We'll talk more about that in a minute, but we added the wheels and tires, replaced the headlights, tail lights, new shocks all around. But it really didn't need much, which was very good for my blood pressure. As you guys and gals out there that follow us know, we can't leave anything alone. And most of the builds involve a lot more customization than this truck. This truck was a delight because, first of all, it already ran and drove great. It didn't really need much, you know, as far as mechanical upgrades. The gauges are clear and bright. They're accurate. We didn't need to replace those. We did really absolutely nothing under the hood except, you know, flush out the radiator, change the fluids, get it, you know, freshened up. But as far as replacing parts under there, nothing. So real quick, for anybody who's not familiar with this body style, this is the 4th generation C/K, you know, C being the 2-wheel drive, K being the 4-wheel drives. You know, the C10 models began in 1960. I'm pretty sure that's the date. And this is the 4th generation of the Chevrolet C model pickup trucks. After this, they changed the name and it no longer included the C. Like this one is a C1500. The predecessor to this one, the square body, was a C10. And going all the way back to 1960, they used the terminology C10. So this again is the 4th gen. And General Motors referred to it as, you know, when they redesigned this body style in 1988, they referred to it as the GMT 400. So that's what you see on the title for these trucks. But the public refers to these body styles as the OBS era. And OBS stands for old body style, which kind of makes me feel old. But anyway, I don't make the rules, I just play by them. So here we have an OBS truck, and those ranged from 88 to 98. So again, this is the last year for the OBS pickup. You see the, you know, when you compare these to the square bodies, They're more rounded. You know, General Motors was more focused on aerodynamics and fuel economy, and they add a lot more computers to these trucks, so they run a lot better. They almost all have power windows and locks, AC, the whole 9 yards, everything pumping nice and cold. You know, the creature comforts that are added to this vehicle make my life a lot easier. You know, we don't have to add AC, we don't have to add gauges, as I mentioned a moment ago, because you know, say for example the square body era right before this one, the gauges were really dimly lit and they weren't very accurate. So almost every one of those trucks that we send out of here, we change those. But on these, they don't need it. They're new enough where the technology was strong and they were not faulty. They didn't have all the faulty systems that we don't love. But again, this is the Silverado trim level, as you can see right there on that badge. So that means this one's got power windows, locks, the whole 9 yards. And I believe in '95 was the last redesign for the OBS era. So this truck was involved in that last redesign. So they rounded off the dash, they rounded off the seats, they weren't as square. The door panels have more rounded features to them. We'll look at the interior here in a minute. But those are some of the new things, not only for the OBS era, but for this particular OBS from '95 to '98. The exterior body style was pretty much the same. The grille changed a little bit. It didn't have those recessed headlights like they did in the first part of the OBS era. They were more flush, as you can see, the headlights. So that's what we've got here. A last year model OBS pickup with only 79,000 original verified miles. This truck again spent its whole life in Georgia, so it's a completely rust-free truck. It has all original paint except the little chip that I touched up. I mean, the paint is in unbelievable condition. As they say down south, this is a peepaw truck. This was a grandpa truck. I think it was in Cornelia, Georgia for most of its life until it came up to Cleveland, Georgia, where I was able to be lucky enough to purchase it from a young man that charged me a lot for it. But you know, it's really a nice truck, and it's unique in that it's all original and with the low miles and in just pristine condition. I hope that's coming through on the video. I know we've got some shadows on this side of the truck. I'm sorry about that. But when we shoot the photos of the truck, we will make sure all angles are covered in the sun so you can see them real nice and clear. But on the video, we can't really move it around, so you'll have to just bear with me. Under the hood, what do we got? Got a nice fuel-injected 350 cubic inch Vortec center bolt valve cover V8. All right. So as you can see, even just looking at the valve covers, look how clean they are. This truck obviously was kept inside its whole life. I don't see any aftermarket parts under the hood. This thing has been super well cared for. It even has the factory GM underhood insulated mat. So it's got disc brakes, power disc brakes, of course. There's your booster. Power steering pumps down there. It's got power steering. Got a factory AC unit, blows ice cold. Firewall's in great shape. These Vortec motors run forever. And this one's barely broken in at 79,000 miles, but I would expect to be much more reliable than some of the older classics that our clientele purchases. Maybe not quite as cool as the '69 Camaro, but getting there. Even your little light still works under the hood. So again, we got a 350 V8 connected to a 4L60 4-speed overdrive transmission. Everything factory original as far as the drivetrain goes. Again, we gave her a fresh oil change, flushed out the radiator, checked the power steering pump, everything like that. But under the hood, you basically got factory everything. Can't really see it, but right there was a chip and I touched it up. That's about the only spot I found on this truck. But if you love the OBS trucks like I do, the 98 is the cream of the crop, man. It's the last year, as I mentioned before. It's got all the upgrades that were made by GM during the, while these trucks are being produced The last year of any American Classic is one of the best ones to get. Just like with the square bodies, we're always looking for 87s because those were also the last year of that generation. All right, let's talk about what we did. We did headlights. We did running lights, brand new, because one of the downsides to these trucks was, first of all, the clear coat would always fail. That has not happened on this truck. Again, leading me to believe that it was kept inside all its life. The other thing is that the headlights and the tail lights would fade. They would get very cloudy. So we replaced those, got new headlights, new running lights, new tail lights. Then we had to mess with the look. I went back and forth. I was trying to leave it alone, but what can I tell you? I've got a disease. Not only do I talk too much, but I can't leave these trucks alone. They're just too fun. So what did we do? We did spin. This is a static drop. It's not bagged. We did lowering spindles and lowering springs up front. And we did a flip kit in the rear. And these trucks, when you do the 4/6 drop, which I commonly refer to as the gentleman drop, so it's not dragging on the ground, but it's got a cool look to it. When you do the flip kit in the rear of these trucks, you have to C-notch them. So unfortunately, you know, I don't love doing that, but we do it the right way. The C-notch is all bolted in. It's been painted nice, finished nice under there. You'll see that when you see the photos at carcraftclassics.com. We did it nice, clean, professional job under there. But it has been C-notched, flip kit in the rear, spindles and springs up front, and new shocks all the way around. One of the other things we make sure to do on our lowering is the shock relocation brackets for the rear end, the bottom mounts for the shocks. We always use those little shock extender brackets just to, you know, you do that so that the shocks operate more efficiently. You know, if you lower the truck and you don't use those little shock relocation brackets, the shock sits at such an angle it can't really do its job well. So these shock relocation brackets, what they do is they straighten up the shock a little bit more so that your suspension is not completely you know, terrible out in the rear. But this truck goes down the road well. And one of the challenges with the OBS trucks is lowering them and keep them from scrubbing. We've got this thing, it's not scrubbing. I took it for a half-hour ride. I hit as many potholes as I could and it didn't scrub. But you never know. I sent one recently out to the Pacific Northwest. We fixed it here. It wasn't scrubbing. The customer got it and he was complaining. He said that the rear tires were getting cut up by the inner fenders. And we didn't really want to roll any fenders on this truck because, again, it's so original. It even has the little ear at the very top of the wheel opening here. But we went with 2 different sets of tires and finally found one that worked. That's a 275/40 in the rear and a 245/45 up front. So we think we've got it perfect. But if she scrubs, you know, down the line, let's say you live in a real terrible area like an inner city where the roads are terrible and you're banging and scrubbing, you call me and I'll help you. You know, you can always put a lift shackle on the rear end of these trucks and raise it up an inch or so. But you'd be taken away from that cool look. And like I said, I road tested this thing myself personally and it's not scrubbing. So it looks great, it rides great. I would advise you not to change that killer look unless you have to. Love the OBS. I don't know if somebody put a new grill on there. We didn't. We didn't do the bumper either, but they look like brand new. All in really, really, really good condition. And this is a 98, so it's got the flush headlights. Original paint in great shape. Glass is in great shape. Power windows, power locks do work. No cracks in the glass. Doesn't look like it's been replaced. That looks like the factory original gasket. Wipers work, cruise works, everything works. One of the other things I like to fiddle with on these trucks is the bed. You know, a lot of times, more with the square bodies, but a lot of times they come in and they might have some imperfections in the bed, and we'll sand them down and we'll put in a color matched bed liner, you know, that really looks neat, you know, when it matches the color of the paint. And I thought about doing it on this truck because a white spray-in bed liner, I should say, would look cool. And I'm not a huge fan of these plastic drop-in bed liners. To me, it cheapens up the truck. But I saw one thing when I was looking at this bed liner that told me right away I wasn't going to pull it out and throw it away. This is the original, hopefully you can see that in the video, bed liner this truck had from General Motors. This is not some aftermarket drop-in bed liner. You can see right there it's got the GM stamp on it. So this is the original General Motors drop-in bed liner, and for all of you original guys out there, I knew you would want that. So I'm going to leave that in here unless, you know, somebody calls and says, take it out, I could care less, put that white spray-in bed liner, we'll do it. You let me know, but I wanted to leave it in there and just give you guys and gals out there the opportunity to have it, you know, all original back there with that cool GM stamped bed liner. Shoo-wee. So that is a 20 by 8 and a 20 by 10 in the rear, or that might be a 9.5 actually in the rear. Those are the US Mag Santa Cruz wheels, which we absolutely love. We recently had a beautiful navy blue square body pickup that had the Santa Cruz chrome, which I love, but these have the gray face and they look so nice on this truck. Hopefully that's coming through on the video. And the reason I say that is the contrast with the white, number one. Number two, that pinstripe that runs the length of the truck is also gray, and so is the interior. So the gray just kind of meshes in with the color combination from the factory on this truck. One of the other things my mechanic Tate did for me and did a great job, the exhaust pipe was dangling way down. I'm not sure why, maybe because they put a new exhaust on it at some point. So, you know, maybe that's why, maybe they hung it wrong. But we had that all tucked back up in there nice and neat, coming out right behind the rear tire. Looks awesome. Great job, Tate. I come back to look, you know, how the progress was when he was working on it. And he was polishing the last 4 inches of that pipe just because the truck is so nice. You want to do everything you do to it. You want to do it at a high level, and really, really nice. Came out awesome. He did a great job. So anyway, there's your 98 Chevrolet C1500 Silverado pickup. You know what that is right there? That's America, baby. Love it. Let's get a close-up of those wheels. Oh, I'm going to try that again. Look at those wheels. You got the shorter lip up front. Brand new all-season radials. And you got the bigger lip in the rear. Gotta love it. It's just a killer look. Smooth, lowered, original, beautiful paint. Upgraded the headlights and taillights. Tucked that exhaust. New shocks all around. She is gorgeous. No accidents on the Carfax. And the Carfax also verifies the mileage, which is nice. Something we're not used to because we're used to dealing more with the older stuff. But you know, let's face it, this thing is what, 27 years old? Really making me feel old here. But anyway, she's still got the stock mirrors. The black mirrors to match the black handles. Silverado. There's that bed again. Now, interior. I know there's a lot of shadows, and as I mentioned before, I will take pictures of the inside, the outside, the undercarriage, and all around without the shadows. But for the video, because a lot of my customers can't make it actually to my shop, it's important to shoot the video, and there's nothing I can do about those shadows, so just bear with me. Dash pad, immaculate. Perfect condition. Factory General Motors mats that everybody loves. Color match to the gray interior. They have, I want to say faded, but they almost look like they darkened up. But those are the original floor mats. You got the bucket / bench seat with the fold down middle console. These might be General Motors' best seats they ever produced. They are so comfortable. The late 95 to 98 OBS trucks. Let's see if we can get this seat go forward. Got your little storage compartment, your toolbox back there. Does not have the sliding rear window. Solid back glass. Headliner's in great shape. I'll give you a peek at that. See, the interior light is working as well. Sun visors are there. And again, talking about these OBS trucks, you see this one, 95 to 98, has more of the rounded dash, whereas some of the earlier OBS, they had the square dash. Rounded off accents on the door panels. No rust in the doors. Rockers are in great shape. Got the key for the, what is it? What are they called again? Slotted rotors. Not the rotors, the lug nuts. Spline, that's what they're called. So we put the spline style lug nuts on here. Key for that's in the glove box, along with the owner's manual, the original owner's manual, which I believe is in there. Let's double check that, make sure. Okay. Oh yeah, there she is. Original owner's manual. Got your little SPID sticker there. There's that key for the lugs. She is gorgeous. All right, let's fire this thing up so you guys can hear it. I'm running out of battery life. Oh man, again, power windows, power locks. Gorgeous, gorgeous truck. Seat is not all ratty and torn up because it's only got 75,000 miles, or 79. There's your gauge cluster. AC, stock stereo. Little DVD player there. No strange noises coming out of the truck. Let me tell you, the asking price on this truck is $34,900. For all the reasons I told you. I know there's OBS trucks out there for 20. There's OBS trucks out there for 10, but they can't hold a candle to this one. Remember, this is a special truck. Low miles, all original paint, lowered right, great looking truck. $34,900 is the asking price. This one's for sale, not on sale, as everybody always says. We can also help with shipping anywhere in lower 48 states or internationally for that matter. And if there was anything you wanted to do customization wise, you wanted to change the wheels or pull out that bed liner, or I don't know, whatever it is that you'd want to do, one of the things that sets my shop apart is we can help with that as well. So you just let me know, but I'd be heartbroken if you had me change it too much, because we've got it just dialed in so perfect how straight that truck is. All right, again, $34,900. We can help with shipping. We can help with financing. We can also help with light customization. Guys, give me a holler if you have any questions. You want to schedule the test drive, you want to make an offer. This truck has a clean Georgia title. There will be no problems registering it in your state, transferring it over. So again, my name is Phil. I'm the owner here. My number is 770-317-1415, or I can be reached via email at carcraftclassics@gmail.com. I want to thank you so very much for watching the video. I really appreciate it. Be safe out there, and God bless America.